Welcome back to the House of Herby podcast. I am your host, Qveen Herby, and my co-host, Jedi Nick, is here as well. Hey.
Hey.
And the poodles are here, but they are running amok. We don't know exactly.
We have Gareth.
Oh, there's a Garage.
You gonna come up, Gary?
Do you all call your dog like 18 different names too? His name is Gary, but we call him many, many things. Mm-hmm. But today in particular, it's a special episode of House of Herby because Nick and I are celebrating 17 motherfucking years, not of marriage, but of 17 years ago, we made out for the very first time.
What?
September 9th, 2005. Ouch. That hurt to say. I'm sorry if you're triggered.
It's a long ass time.
It does sound like a long ass time.
Hey, congrats.
Hey.
I'm going to give you a...
Thank you.
We'll do a formal shake. We'll shake hands later.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we were talking about last week about like being in your purpose, how to get started, all these things. Like Nick and I have 17 years of experience, not only being a couple, partnership as a couple romantically, but also personally and business wise. We've done a lot of shit.
We have. I never wanted to date a musician. Just FYI.
Just for the record.
That's all I have to say about
Okay.
it. I went to Berkeley, so we met at Berkeley College of Magic and
College of Music in Boston.
Okay.
Music school.
And it wasn't actually magic school.
We didn't go to magic school after all.
It's where we met.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been sent.
This is champagne.
I want to thank Bel Air. I'm excited to try this. This is their Luxe. This is not sponsored. I guess it is technically sponsored because they sent us the box. But we're not being paid for this. We're excited to drink this to celebrate our 17th anniversary of making out in a laundry room in Boston. I didn't want to date a musician either. I wanted to date
You're just saying that because I said it.
I wanted to date a billionaire so that I could just do whatever the fuck I wanted.
Oh, yeah. You fucked that up.
Yo, I could have...
And I'm like, I'm from Maine. It worked, though.
It did work.
Uh-oh.
Congratulations.
Are we going to talk about it?
Okay,
I got to open this and
make
stop.
a toast. Say something nice for me.
I'm holding it very...
Just don't point it at Alex or the laptop. Hey! All right, we're doing this. So we met in Boston 17 years ago, and Nick was a trombone player.
What is that? What are you going to say?
I was the best singer in the land.
You were.
No, I came from Nebraska, all people pleasery.
Yeah.
And I was ready to do anything that needed to be done.
This is for Alex.
Oh yeah. You get to drink. You get to drink from the Tiffany's glass. Ooh, a deep pour. This is how we do it.
There you go. Let's get weird.
That's how we do it on HOH.
All right, hey.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you all for celebrating with us.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Alex.
We love you as much as we love each other, I would say.
Yeah, good run, huh?
Good run.
Do you want to go for another 17?
Wait.
Oh, yeah. It's sweet.
This is my new favorite. Okay, Bel Air, Luxe. We thought it would be cool to talk about being in a relationship and like how kind of our perspective on it, because I know it's going to be different for everybody. Not everybody is dating a trombone player. You know what I'm saying? That's your first piece of advice. Now, 17 years ago, we were what, 19? 18? Yeah. 19?
19.
Okay. When you meet your soulmate or whoever, you know, the person that you want to partner with for life, your life partner at 19.
Don't do the clampers.
You know, I was just coming out of a really bad, weren't you coming out of a relationship too?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody in Nebraska like broke my heart. I was like, that was the first time I ever experienced being in love. And I was like, what the fuck is this? So I thought there's no way I'm ever going to find somebody like this. I'm just going to go and like be a hustler and get my shit together in Boston. Yeah. So I got to Boston and I dated like everybody that like I even was remotely interested in.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh.
I dated. I was like,
now.
let's go on dates. Everybody date me. Yes. It was so fun. I was just to figure out what I wanted. And then that's when I started to get really discouraged because I was like, oh, there's nobody that is exactly what I'm looking for. So shout outs to anybody who feels like they lost the love of their life, you know, their first true love, the person that like drives you so crazy you can't sleep or think or eat. And then you lose them and you're like, fuck me. Like, I'm never going to find somebody even remotely like that, even though I know they're so bad for me. It's such a strange.
Because you're young.
You're young.
Listen, you're young.
Listen, you're young.
It's the young love. That's what it is. You're a fucking idiot. When you're 14 and 15, you're like, I love him.
Oh my God.
That's it. We're dead
getting
together.
There.
And you're like, yeah, at the time it feels like it.
Woo.
And then 10 years later, you're like, I'm a fucking idiot. Doesn't mean it wasn't real at the time. Doesn't mean it wasn't real. Okay? But
you.
maybe, you know, once you zoom out and have a little bit more life experience, you're like, oh, okay, cool.
This is how spirituality is going to get woven into this podcast, because I didn't know at 19 years old that God, source, the universe, goddess, whoever you want to call it, had a plan for me / my higher self had a plan that I just wasn't on earth. You're like, it's so dense here, y'all. You don't know. So I got to Boston, dated all these people, and then eventually ended up with a trombone player, and I was like really scared, right? So you're out here like trying to find the love of your life, and then you finally find somebody you really fuck with, and you're like terrified. So that I remember very clearly. And then you were like ready to go, and I was like, whoa, pump the brakes. And then I was like, okay, well, we're being serious. And then you were like, pump the brakes. So there was a time a time frame when we fought each other a little.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. A lot. So we are very different. We are the same in so many ways.
Yep.
We are also polar opposites.
For my astrology babes, we're born 2 days apart in the same year. So we finally get serious, and we're like, oh shit, we're about to graduate college, music college, with a music degree. But it was like the recession of 2009 or something. No jobs.
Housing
crash. We're like, oh shit. Like I had like 4 roommates or something at the time. And it was like, okay, well, we're going to work our day jobs, and we're going to make music.
So we were separate. When did we start making music together?
I don't know. It
was senior year of college. We knew of each other though. Mm-hmm. We played in a bunch of different shows. You were one of the on-call singers that would come in and they would do background singing. And I was the drunken trombone player in the back. We just knew each other. Story.
So we get out of college, and it's a recession, and we start a band, and I'm working in an online music school at the time, which I've told you a little bit about this job, and you were like, you need to quit. We need to take Karmin seriously. And I was like, quit? I need my health insurance. I need my hourly pay. I need my commission checks.
It's true. I did make you quit, didn't I?
You made me quit.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, everybody.
Eventually,
at Berkeley Music.
Eventually, my boss at Berkeley Music made me quit. Yeah. He encouraged us to watch Pomplamoose on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is a little duo, another couple that was like making cover songs on YouTube. And he was like, yeah, this is it. And I was like, how are we ever going to do this? He just bought a wooden box at Guitar Center. He's playing it like a drum. You played the cajon.
I did. I learned how to
I learned guitar.
I'd always had some kind of set of hands, and I played in a salsa band for a while at Berkeley.
We had people close to us that were supportive. I remember our first show. We booked a show for Karmin, and we played for 4 hours straight in a bar. I think your hands were bleeding. We were not prepared.
Dude, this is crazy. I haven't thought about this shit in a long fucking time.
Newberry Street.
We played on the street. So we literally set up I show up in a fucking box. And you had a mic.
In a box. Now he's not playing the box. He's in it. We should find an old picture, Alex, and put it up of us performing on Newberry Street.
So I pop out of this box, right?
No, we took the train.
Yes.
With the instruments and a speaker and 2 microphones and a boom stand. That was the initial grind and kind of what locked us into our relationship. I never had any doubts that we were going to do this. So when you meet the right person, I do believe that your paths will align in such a way. And you will know with your intuition, which will be another episode of House of Herby. We got to talk about intuition, like a whole episode about it.
Yeah.
But at the time, even at 19, I didn't even know the word I couldn't even spell intuition. I didn't know what it was.
I still can't.
But you feel it. You feel it when you're with that person and you start to mold this new path together. This is your life partner. This is not just somebody you have sex with. This is not just somebody who comforts you when you're down. This is y'all are doing life together. I think that was our focus. Let's talk about working together. Okay, because it's also intense. We are 2 creative people with creative jobs.
Yeah.
And you need to also have this understanding that you're going to be out here with your emotions. Always. I'm crying constantly. You never cry. It's very confusing.
I'm like, Irish from the Northeast. My tear ducts removed when I was 9.
Anger, right? You have more anger, which is a very male-female dynamic.
And that's how I have been programmed to show my emotion.
Correct. Men are not allowed to be sad.
Anger is acceptable. Sadness is not.
Some psychic people, some astrologers and people have told us that we are sort of like, I don't know if twin flame is the right phrase, but we have like sibling energy, whatever that means. It is kind of sibling energy, but in like the best way, right? And so we more have chosen to do life together, and we've done it big, and we have so many other plans,
big
y'all.
Life.
Big life.
Qveen Herby, album 2.
Big life. And you have to be able to. Also, you're a blessing because I'm so serious, y'all. He keeps me laughing.
Don't point at me.
I know old people say this. They're like, he keeps me laughing. Yeah. Like I was in here the other day in the office, and like the Apple speaker just came on. It was creepy, y'all. I love when that happens because I'm like, the spirits are here.
They're listening.
And it was Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon Osbourne talking about their relationship, and I was like, damn, this is the next podcast.
Oh, tight.
Because they said the same shit. Like Ozzy's crazy. He's office rocker, and Sharon is crazy too. But they complement each other perfectly. He keeps her laughing.
God. That is one thing I can say that I have learned. Everybody's Everybody. You are never going to find someone who isn't crazy. It's how your dual crazies actually like balance each other.
You need compatible crazies.
Compatible crazies. You need compatible t-shirt. T-shirt number 3 we're not going to make.
None of these t-shirts
for cheersing me on my anniversary.
So what happens if we get divorced like next year? Are they going to delete this episode, or is that going to
They're going to come back to look at all the things and be like, this is not what you're supposed to do. Clearly it doesn't work.
We have a case study here. Also, you need to be able to joke about that, y'all. You don't know where life is going to go. You just don't.
Yeah.
Any fucking thing can happen to where your path is no longer aligned. And this is really advanced. I know this is kind of hard to even wrap your head around, right? You're so serious about finding your partner, your life partner, and you fall in love and all this stuff, and you do 17 years together, right? And even if after 17 years, you're like, this isn't it. This isn't right. Whatever my next chapter is like, we're not in the same scenario. Like, you need to be willing to surrender to that. I know that's scary and heavy, and people hate the word divorce, but it's like 50% of people get divorced. I wish it wasn't so stigmatized.
Yeah.
I know so many people that have separated and parted ways that are like so much happier now. It doesn't have to be messy. I mean, it's messy.
So one thing too, not to get super in the woo-woo shit, but we've been reading a lot of reincarnation books or people under hypnosis therapy talking about shit.
Which has actually answered a lot of questions about our relationship.
It's
We're like,
crazy.
Oh, it makes more sense because it doesn't make sense in the world. But when you think of our souls being like eternal and coming back to like, but like work through karma and learn.
Under hypnosis, they all say sex is a trap.
Yeah.
They're like, sex is such a trap on Earth because it's so intense. It's so like, apparently having like a human body as compared to other places you can incarnate is like such an intense, you always use the word dense. Such a dense experience. It's like way too heavy. It's so...
yeah, sex is a trap for sure.
And so sex is a huge part of that. So if like sex dominates everything because it's so powerful, it's way too good. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying it's not wonderful and amazing and valuable. It's just...
Can't wait to have it one day.
Someday we're going to do it.
Someday.
We all just need to be a little bit more free and loose and surrendered. So that's kind of been our theme. We have a theme every year of our relationship. We're like, wow, this part of our,
Qveen Herby, keep it loose.
Keep it loose. What do they say? Carry the pails. Like some days you're just like carrying the pails of water.
That's a surrender thing.
Some days you're just like, some days your partner will be sick or in a bad mood or have somewhere they have to be. And you're like at home by yourself. Like, oh shit, what do I do?
And we had during the pandemic, we know a lot of people that didn't make it through the pandemic because that was just such a crazy, unique
people whose
situation.
Relationships didn't make it.
Right. Thank you for clarifying. So for us, for our example, we just had one big open room with no walls.
We stay in a loft.
Yeah, we stay in a loft. So
there's only like a door for the bathroom. That's it.
And we actually
they were like, stay safer at home. We were like, cool.
We actually did fine. There were times when we were like, hey bro, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
hey, shut up. But
that exactly what you just did is like a constant in a healthy relationship, I think.
Okay, pivot.
Yeah.
Working together. Because this is interesting, I think. when we work together, because we're both kind of like weirdly alpha in some ways.
We are.
We
try to dominate each other.
It gets
creatively.
Heated
it's hot. No, I love it.
It's hot. When we were doing the covers, we didn't know how to like harness it yet. It was at the very beginning.
It's burning me.
And we would be fucking yelling at each other.
Yeah.
It's like straight up yelling at each other.
No, and after it was done, we were like,
we're
love
over.
you. Thanks. Have a good day.
Yeah. We were like, all right, let's just work, right? Yeah.
I think because we needed that energy to get us elevated to a point where we were like giving our best. And you need to find somebody that you can just go through hard shit with. Like, don't marry somebody, don't commit to somebody unless you've been through some shit together. Because getting through shit like that is so important to know if it's going to last. Like, don't sign any legal documents with somebody for anything until y'all been through some shit. So 17 years in, Alex brought a great question. Actually, today I decided I wanted to call you Alice. So Alice had a great question. He said, do you have boundaries for the personal life and the work life? The answer is no. The answer is no.
But we have slowly learned.
We're still really bad at vacationing. We don't take any breaks. So remember, we live in a one-room loft.
Yeah, we do take breaks, but they're different. They're not like huge
vacations, extravagant
vacations. But we definitely take breaks. We also have learned how to. We have like become obsessed with being hyper efficient. With how we work. So we do only work when we're writing or whatever. We work on an hour at a time per song and then move on to the next one, because at that point we just start beating it up and start going the other way with it. Don't have a fresh perspective anymore.
Right.
And we usually stop by like 2:00 in the afternoon. We wake up early and we work during the day, and then for like the rest of the day we still have separate time. Like you go off and do.
I go off to my office and I work.
And you learn.
And I learn. And
at nighttime you sit on YouTube and you literally just learn.
Yeah, he watches you.
I watch shows.
You watch films and movies, TV shows, and I study. Like recently, it's been Reiki. I am now like Reiki level 2 certified.
I love that you learn. That's hot.
Thank you. See?
Yeah, you're cute. What was the most stressful time of our relationship, you think?
The most stressful time? It was never our relationship, though.
It was never our relationship.
I can honestly say I've never been like worried about our relationship.
Me either.
Weird.
Isn't that crazy?
That's so weird.
That's really weird.
I was worried about like our career.
I don't get jealous with you or anything.
Yeah, I did in the beginning with you.
Yeah.
I would be mad if he like Facebook girls. I was like, what the fuck, bro? That's because I got cheated on.
Right.
So you have that like remaining trauma. Like that took me years, y'all, by the way. If you get cheated on or betrayed or abandoned, it's like you're looking at 7 to 10 years. I was still dreaming about this person. Like it was
lots of letting go.
It was rough. It is. Yeah. So then you begin your spiritual journey together. So you find your person, you partner, you commit. He makes you laugh. You start a band. You know, said band blows up on YouTube. You go through all this crazy shit. And maybe us clinging to each other through all of that was like strengthening.
We always knew that we weren't going to let it affect we weren't going to break up over it.
Right.
I think we always knew that. We were like, dude, this is cool and everything, but this isn't good enough for us to break up over this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't. A lot of people, we've talked about this a few times, but like, I don't know if people in the public know the lifestyle of the pop star, the pop star lifestyle, whatever, is a very low quality of life, actually. Like, it's not a super high quality of life. Can be really dark. So I think that was the only strain.
The only strain was, but it was usually because like the label like wouldn't do something that we needed them to do. And then it was like, oh, the record's failing and they couldn't and blah. It was never about each other. We were comforting each other through this and strategizing.
And you had fucking balls of steel, dude. You have huge balls. I am so jealous of your huge balls.
Huge balls.
At the end of Karmin, you were like, dude, what the fuck are we doing here? And I was like, no, I think I was like Capricorn. I was like, no, we just dig in and we
Nick
do
is like,
this
never
and we do
give
that.
Up.
But I also felt so just like exhausted by the whole thing. And you were like, dude, this is what we got to do. And I was like, cool. And then you even wanted to stop music completely.
Oh, several times.
And I had to talk you into. You were done. You were done. You were over it.
I was like, let's move to Colorado. They have mountains and weed. But you just go with the flow. You find somebody who really compliments you perfectly. It sounds a lot more simple than it is. I'm sure it's really difficult.
What do you say?
But you got to trust the timing. That was my thing. I was in a rush to like find someone to replace my ex, and it was just like, why? I didn't need to date all those people. I could have just waited and been patient.
Yeah.
So, but it was a good experience. I wrote a lot of songs about that time period.
Yeah. Never let any good suffering go to waste.
Go to waste, right? Make art.
God, some of the best songs, some of the best whatever. Put
Sometimes
it in
I
there.
still write songs about my single life was great. It was one of the most liberating times of my life. Mm-hmm. So like rushing into a relationship was like really not necessary, but
I didn't want to either.
I didn't want it.
I
didn't need it. Then we blew up with Karmin. We almost quit. We were like, let's get married.
That was in the middle of Karmin.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot all of this.
I forgot the process, but
this is what happens too on your 17th anniversary. You're gonna be like, "Wait, dude, what's your name again?"
So yeah, but we did get married in the backyard of our first house.
Yes, we got the keys to our first little house. We were so excited. Oh my God, we had a house! Because everybody said, "Don't buy the Maserati, just buy land." And I was
don't spend $100,000. Spend $1.5 million.
Right. And then go in there and fix every fucking thing. That house was a fixer.
We fixed the balls.
Oh my God! They installed like 8,000 square feet of pavers.
Back lot in the backyard.
I put a Disneyland in the backyard, thinking we were gonna shoot it.
We did, but like twice, and then we were like,
we installed a studio in the guest house, and then we were like, let's sell this house.
Well, already used it.
Yeah, and I began my design practice there.
When we sold it, when we moved, we counted guess how many chairs we had there? Two fucking people.
2 people lived in this house.
Guess how many chairs we had there? 92.
92 chairs. And there was never anywhere to sit.
There was never anywhere to sit.
There was never anywhere to sit. I was like, this is not in alignment. This is not. I had just begun to get spiritual. I started collecting crystals. Ooh, that was a good phase. Okay, we're getting there.
It was a great phase.
So we got married in the backyard privately because remember the label was like, don't get married. We can't market you then.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got through that. And then we were like, cool, we're going to like build independent music career. That was actually kind of the beginning of the end, wasn't it? Anyway, we left the label, and then we signed to another label.
Yeah, but we
did. Signed with that.
But
so
that was
this is why we hate labels now.
That whole situation was just kind of it was perfect for what it needed to be. It was perfect. It was an indie. Small Sony
everything also works out
label.
Perfectly, by the way. I remember that was an emotional, and that was about around the time of our Saturn return. So remember, we're born 2 days apart. We're going through the Saturn return. Those of you that don't know what a Saturn return is, bitch.
Watch out for Saturn.
If you're 29 to 31 years old, you better pull up your bootstraps.
It's Saturn time.
It's Saturn time. The planet Saturn returns to the exact same spot that it was in when you were born. And Saturn is kind of a heavy planet, a karmic planet.
Transformation.
So basically, your Saturn return, it's not a bad thing. It's just like heavy growth time.
Yes.
So
can be uncomfortable.
You're basically like becoming the real you.
Yep.
So again, with the
major life
in your
30s,
30s is the best time for self-discovery.
Yeah.
So people in your 20s, you're doing amazing.
And then
just
you hit your Saturn return again when you hit like 60.
You
right?
do. Tell us about the fuck it stage.
We didn't talk about the fuck it stage last time. The fuck it stage is the most fucking important stage you can fucking have. When you reach the fuck it stage, you literally just say fuck it.
How do you know?
All the time.
How do you know you've reached the fuck it stage?
When you're like, you know what? Fuck it. That's the fuck it stage.
All right.
You have to, it's an incredibly dangerous, important, potent time.
Let us know in the comments if you've reached it.
If you're an artist, you have to reach the fuck it stage.
You have
that's
no
when
choice.
You finally, and also like that's when you actually value your opinion more than everybody else.
For sure. You have to feel the courage and the bravery to try something wild.
That's not something that was comfortable for us at all.
The time.
That was very dangerous.
And now it's just like normal. See, because then you'll open yourself up to these other things. So we realized then that, well, Nick is a producer now. And so then naturally I started coming to the front as like this thing. And I was like, wait, I've never written any song with only my own self and my own journey in mind and only from a female perspective. And Karmin, I was always trying to say things that were like applicable to both of us. And like we were trying to write.
Musically we're so different.
We are really different.
But we also fuck with the same. We also have always had the same opinion on what was right and what wasn't.
That's interesting.
Isn't it?
Yeah, find somebody who agrees with you on shit that you are passionate about. It's lovely. then we got the house in the hill, and we started Qveen Herby after I got sick with
C. diff.
I got like a GI infection, and I was like, I'm dying, I'm dead.
Thanks.
That was a huge.
It's been fun.
That
I'm
Saturn
dead.
return was rough, and
yeah, it was intense.
But I came out of it being like, oh, what if I'm just selfish for a little while because I don't even want to be doing this anyway? And then I was like, totally re-inspired by Qveen Herby. First song we wrote was Gucci. EP 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those days were fun.
Those days were really fun. We found all of our friends to come in and help with the videos, and we were just scraping because we were indie too. So we were like, shit, we can't like be spending like assholes. We need to like get these videos done for cheap, creative.
Fuck it stage. Busta Rhymes was one setup. I was like, we need to shoot the fucking balls out of this thing to make it not be boring.
Right.
And we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And we continue to do that because we actually now enjoy that being our art. Mm-hmm. Simplicity.
Oh my God.
Like never overdoing it. So how would you say our relationship changed then over the 17 years and these little, I feel like we're in like phase 3.
Oh yeah.
How is it now? Well, now you're a producer making your own money and I'm a artist making my own money. So now we can buy each other things.
Which we don't do.
Which we don't do. We just let Rick Ross send us the champagne. It's delicious.
It is funny. We don't buy each other things, do we? I try to buy you shit all the time.
We're two tourists. We're two tourists.
I try to buy you shit all the time. You're such a Midwest.
I just get so mad. I'm like, how could you spend $2,000 on a necklace? That is wasteful.
You do.
You got to find somebody that supports the weirdness in you, too. I don't want you to go out and find the most attractive person you can find that's going to look good on your arm. Like, I want y'all to be like Sonny and Cher.
Thing? I guess that's
I want you to look like you don't belong together. I want you to be free because that's going to just cut through all the bullshit so fast. You're going to be able to get to a point where I want you to have a slow love, like where you can trust each other. And it's beautiful that way. I understand like the glam and the glitz of like having a big wedding, but I sang at like 500 weddings. And let me tell you,
what did you do for a
very
job?
small percentage of those people were actually in love from my viewpoint.
Oh, dark.
I was like, damn, y'all spent $1 million and you don't even love each other. Like that is deep. And
there you go.
When it comes to having fur babies together. Okay. Don't get 2 dogs.
There we go.
We got Gary. Gary was a lifelong dream of mine, right?
I have a question for you. How do you feel about your sister, Luna? Yeah. Okay. And how have the meals been lately? Back to you, Tom.
We got Gary because I drew him on a napkin in an airplane. We were on our way to some shit. We were on a godforsaken 27th plane for the week or something. Yeah, and it was like, and I was like, I'm gonna die. And then
we did a lot of like little fucking flights.
On like a napkin, I drew a picture of Gary, and I was like, I am manifesting a dog. We're gonna have a normal life. I'm gonna be happy, and I'm gonna.
No, it's true. So that happened, and it literally looked exactly like this little fucker.
So then we got Gary, and then a couple years later we got Luna because I felt like Gary was sad and he needed a mail order bride.
He did.
But then Luna turned out to be her own independent woman, and
they are siblings, not
lovers.
Not lovers.
Not lovers. I will say doing a podcast with your partner too, it's really interesting. We felt so liberated by this. We just want to thank everybody for listening, and especially the folks that are leaving comments, and it means a lot to us that you even give a fuck about us. And we've been very newly inspired by doing this podcast. We feel like we're able to be completely ourselves with you, and
it's
couldn't
something
say
new
that.
And fresh.
I couldn't say that in the past. Now that my hair's orange, everything's easier.
The champagne helps.
It does. Okay, I will say, even if you, let's say, God forbid, you never find the person that you're supposed to be with.
Oh my God, I'm so lonely.
Like, bitch, I was ready to be a single queen in my little studio apartment with my microphone with the lipstick all over it. Like, getting Chinese takeout every day, baby. My espresso machine, like, single life is fucking awesome. If that is your path in this lifetime, I just think we don't need to stigmatize it, y'all. It's incredible. You are going to experience coming into this world and leaving this world with only yourself, right? On the other side, apparently, you do have a bunch of buddies meet ya. a bunch of souls, and you have a family, and we are all one. I know we'll get there eventually with this podcast, but it's also fucking awesome to just be single and rock tits and just be a bad bitch.
On that note, we're breaking up.
Oh my God. But if we were, it would be fine.
It'd be fine. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, it is amazing if you find a partner. If you don't, if you have 7 partners, throughout your life, your journey, you never know what's going to happen. So just relax, enjoy it. Make sure to put yourself first and be ready to just like pivot when needed. Because it's always changing. It's always evolving. If it's with somebody, great.
It is evolving. God, it does evolve a lot, especially with someone who evolves a lot. But it's fun. It is fun. It's the ultimate adventure, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time. You having a good time still?
I love you, babe.
I love you too.
Thank
you. Good
you.
to see you.
Good to see you.
You want to make out later?
You want to make out in the laundry room?
You want to make out in the laundry room?
We totally could. Doing it.
Dear
that
resident,
will not be on
please,
the podcast.
We do have film of the...
Dear resident, we will be fining you. The HOA will be taking away your rights. No, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a beautiful week, and we will catch you next week. We're going to get right back into
the
productivity. We're like, let's have a little emotional week. It had a little bit of tips in there.
Yeah.
It did.
Sure.
And thank you for watching House of Herby. Mwah.